Welcome to episode 9, One Game in Ann Arbor. Maryland has the best roster in the league. Michigan has the third best. They're in the same division. They only play once, week 6 in Ann Arbor. Whatever happens in December is bookkeeping. Welcome to the Big Ten preview. Let's jump right in. Michigan is my projected number 1 in the East Division. I predict that they will go 11-1 with only one loss in conference. The receiver room is the headline. 9 wideouts, all of them starters somewhere in this league, topped by Albert London, who's the best skill player in the country and wins in every way there is to win. But the reason they win 11 games is that the rest of the roster matches it. 9 corners, 9 linebackers, 6 defensive tackles, 6 edges, with Brett Holden, at the top of them. Every level is deep and every level is good. Quarterback Brian Green is a redshirt freshman with the strongest arm in the division, and the reads to go with it. His ball placement is the only thing on his sheet that isn't already elite, and that's the one thing that we'll candidly approve. 11-1 is straightforward only. Only one game on the schedule is competitive, and it's Maryland at home. Win that game, you win the East. Lose that game, you lose the East. Up next is Maryland. Predicting Maryland will go 10-2, 7-1 in conference. This is the best roster in the SNCFL and the second best record in its own division. The most prestigious program in the country. Quarterback Eugene Hill has no weakness in his profile at all. Arm, accuracy, decisions, all of it. And he's proven it. He's actually started. The backfield is arguably the best in the country. 3 deep with genuine stars, including Simon Buford, who's simply the fastest player in the league. 6 tight ends, 10 corners, and a left tackle who can move a defensive end off his spot. 2 losses, and the schedule caused both. They go to Auburn in week 2 and to Michigan in week 6, the 2 hardest road games any Big Ten team draws. Play those at home, and this is a 12-0 team. If they win against Auburn, Stewart and Michigan may be in trouble. Up next is Ohio State. Ohio State, I'm predicting, will be 9-3. 2 shutdown corners in Hunt and Schuler, an All-American tight end in Dexter McFadden, and a true freshman left tackle who already starts. They're favored in 10 games and drawing dead in 2, Michigan and Maryland, both on the road. The quarterback room is the difference between this team and the 2 above it, and it isn't even close. Bernard Ramos may be good, but he's not elite like the other 2. Now let's talk about Indiana. Indiana is Bama's team. Bama is capable of going 7-5 or 10-2. He probably has the best pure passer in the division outside of the top 2 in Juan Klein, who is accurate and reads it correctly. The interior line in front of him is why they're going to likely go 7-5 instead of 10-2. Rutgers is likely going to go 6-6. They have a shutdown corner, a good back, a quarterback with a live arm, and a defensive front that gets moved. Michigan State, 5-7, and their quarterback room can't complete a pass. Bringing up the rear is Penn State at 2-10, with an offensive line that loses at every spot, both projected wins or conference games against the other bottom teams in the West. Speaking of the West, let's move out though and talk about Minnesota. On paper, Minnesota shouldn't be up at the top of this division. However, they arguably have the best coach in the league. Minnesota has an elite pass-protecting left tackle and a freshman corner who already starts attached to a quarterback who physically may struggle to throw the ball down the field. But it doesn't matter. This is a Shark team. Shark teams are known for many things. Just take a look at Coastal Carolina. Even after he left, they are still outperforming teams in power conferences. Trust Shark to get this going, and it'll be fun to watch him as he probably runs the table in the West with his only real losses on the season coming against potentially Memphis, Eastern Michigan. And give it a season or two, and he's probably not losing those either. The other team that could make a serious run at the top, is Nebraska. The best safety group in the division by a wide margin, a 6 deep backfield and 8 receivers with no drop off. They win this division by beating everyone in the West and losing the crossovers. However, they're likely not going to beat everybody in the division, and the chances of them getting past Minnesota are slim. They may only drop one game all season in conference, but it'll be enough to cost them. Unfortunately, the crossovers are also what's going to cost them. They drew both Michigan and Maryland from the East, the 2 hardest crossover games in the conference, both at home. Those are 2 of the 4 losses before the season even really gets started for them. Offensive tackle is the other structural problem that Nebraska has that I think will hold them back, and it shows up against those 2 who have elite pass rushing. Now let's talk about Iowa. Iowa is probably going to go 8-4. They have probably the most balanced quarterback in the division in Donald Whitehead. No elite trait, no hole either, which in this league is worth more than a big arm. Center McFarland anchors everything. Safety Michael McKenzie is all conference, and the edge rotation is 6 deep. They're third because they lose at Nebraska in week 7 and lose to Minnesota. Everything else should line up, though. 9 games are favored in, and they have probably one of the softest non-conference draws of any of the teams in the Big Ten. Illinois is likely going to come in at 7-5. Receiver Joel Forbes, who catches everything, and an accurate quarterback in Sergio Grace is a reason why they should win many of the close games that they're in and should really compete for potentially the West Division. Wisconsin, likely 6-6, a capable single quarterback in Conley with a real arm, an all-conference free safety, and a receiver room that's the weakest among the West Bowls team. 9 bodies and nobody who separates. Northwestern will be second to last at 3-9 with the worst quarterback room in the conference. Purdue will finish last at 1-11. No functional offensive line and no pass rush. They aren't favored in a single game. The title game will likely either be Michigan or Maryland over Minnesota or Nebraska. On paper, the West Division has no chance against their stronger East Division brothers. Michigan and Maryland are elite teams that likely will win this conference relatively easily. Although, as the Little Giants once told us, 1 out of 99 times another team can win, and this could be the year that someone like Minnesota trips up the double M's from the East. The real Big Ten championship is in week 6 in Ann Arbor. Home field is the main difference between the 2 nearly identical rosters, and because it's being played at Michigan, that is the reason why I think Michigan makes the title game. Playoff picture-wise, Michigan and Maryland are both in, with Ohio State on the bubble. Both Michigan and Maryland will go in comfortably. The week 6 loser still gets in, just several seed lines lower. Ohio State's case is a 10-2 record with losses only to those 2. In a field with no automatic bids, that's usually enough, but they're competing with a half dozen 9-3 teams for the last 4 spots. Ultimately, the thing that will decide the West is whether Nebraska can win any of their crossovers, whether Shark can get Minnesota humming right off the get-go. For Nebraska, they get Michigan and Maryland at home in weeks 1 and 5. Win either and at home against a Michigan team opening its season, that's not fanciful. That's actually a chance. In a 9-3 Nebraska with a top 5 win vaults past the entire bubble. That's the most consequential game in the conference, and nobody's talking about it. Up next is the SEC. 5 ranked teams, 3 playoff teams, and a quarterback who just simply does not miss. Thank you.